is just fantastic. Captain's log, subdates 211217.9. I may have had that engineering block that I received earlier sent on a little adventure. As a consequence of this, workplace accidents have gone up by 324.72%. I do now wonder if the crew will do any better with tomorrow's gifts, or whether another lesson needs to be administered. So today we have another culinary masterclass from another person claimed to be a Karen, and this time, this person got arrested because she took her Karenly outburst, alleged, even though it's on camera and I'm going to show you it, and escalated it to a level where it really shouldn't go. And I fully understand and appreciate frustrations at not getting what one has been served, or it's not being served to the quality one desires, may well yield a negative outcome from the customer. But as is well established in retail of any variety, the customer is never right. And in this instance, the customer is especially not right. The Karen in question is called, alleged Karen that is, Amanda Nicole Martinez. And the incident in question took place at a Mexican restaurant in Texas called Sol de Jalisco. If I've mispronounced that, I am very, very sorry. But I can only speak 3 languages: French, Hungarian, and apparently English. This is Amanda Martinez, and for the crime she committed, she was transported to the Bell County Jail, along with being banned from that earlier mentioned restaurant. So what did she do, you all ask? What Amanda Martinez, the alleged Karen, did was received something that she did not want, well, yeah, obviously, to such a degree that when she decided to approach restaurant staff about it, she decided to take the product in question that she had ordered, and when not getting the desired outcome that she wanted, i.e. someone to simply go up to her food product and go, she decided to throw it in the face of the restaurant worker. And of course, for your entertainment, here is the evidence of the crime.
On November 7th, Martinez complained to a restaurant in Temple, Texas, that her menudo soup was so hot it melted the top of the takeout container. Janelle Nellie Broland was the manager on duty who took the call.
And I, of course, offered her refunds and was trying to get her either a replacement meal or just something completely different if she wasn't in the mood for soup anymore. And she just continued to yell.
Martinez came back to the restaurant to continue her complaint, as seen on this surveillance video, pointing out the melted lid.
She just still continued to yell, make a scene, and still cursing with, families and other children in the restaurant. And that's when I said, ma'am, you either need to calm down or leave, or I'm going to be calling the police. And I said, ma'am, I can still help you and get you something. I just ask that you don't yell and cuss at me. And that's the moment she threw it at me.
Thankfully, the hot soup had cooled down, but Broland says the experience was still painful.
My eyes were stinging so bad, they were burning, and the spices were all inside of the top part of my nose, and it caused me to have a nosebleed.
As you may have heard from the voice of the manager who had the soup thrown in her face, options were presented to the alleged Karen. The options included a replacement soup, which was declined. Options including alternate meals, which were declined. Options include a full refund, which Karen alleged also declined. So naturally, because of the lack of options available, the only reasonable one left was to take that soup and make sure somebody got to eat it. And it may as well be the person that the buck stops at, i.e. the manager. Did for any of that I require my sarcasm sign, or was it obvious enough? Interestingly, Broland, the manager, didn't actually want to get this escalated with the police. Turns out she has a soft side, especially when she was alerted to what the potential consequences for Martinez could be. She is currently held on a $5,000 bond, and if found guilty of the crime, she faces up to 1 year in jail and a fine of up to $4,000. Broland said that she felt conflicted about putting someone in jail, but is pleased to see that Martinez is having to deal with the consequences of her actions, saying, "When I last spoke with the Temple Police Department, It seems like this process would take a lot longer. I'm not sure how to feel about being the one to put someone in jail, but I'm glad to see that she's facing the consequences of her actions. The Temple Police Department's Deputy Police Chief Alan Teston said that we do not condone this type of behavior and hold our citizens to the highest standards. If a citizen believes they have received poor service, we advise them to remain civil until the problem is resolved. Does this remind you of the last Karen we covered, with the whole drive-through incident? Yeah, fascinating, isn't it? It's almost like, in reality, even though the first one did go to the police, to get them to help get better service, they're not after better service, are they? What they're after is a scene, something they can feed off, because apparently the food is not what they're after. It's not where they get their sustenance. They get their sustenance from conflict. Might I suggest then, for these alleged Karens, you just go to Twitter. It is a fantastic place for you to get really angry and bring on one of those early aneurysms you are so desperate to obtain. Now, via a Facebook post, a spokesperson for Sol de Jalisco slammed this customer's behavior, saying, "Unfortunately, this incident happened at one of our branches last weekend. #TheSoupThrower. We were shocked by all the actions of this former customer. The Marquez family does not tolerate such behavior, and we simply want our establishment to be a place where people can chill out, enjoy live music, delicious Mexican food, and the best local drinks. As we have stated on all our social media accounts continuously, mi casa es tu casa, but let us all adhere to the ideals of respect." Apparently being a reactionary is, not a part of that. I can't imagine why. Now, we have reached the right part of the video where I can now ask, is this a Karen? And are we now on a 3 Karen win streak? Therefore, I believe we're now at 5-8, if that's the case. In this instance, with Amanda Nicole Martinez, I do believe she can be considered a Karen and a criminal. Obviously a criminal. So was the last one. But this one's a criminal because, well, she threw hot soup on someone's face. It may have cooled a little bit, but there were spices in that. Seriously. Try to imagine for a second how difficult it is for someone to clean all of that out of any cavity in their face. Mouthwash is an easy one. Now try the nose. How about the eyes? What about the ears? And let's not forget here, do you have any idea how irritating it is to wash soup out of your hair? Based on the lumps in that soup, think of it like vomit. It's the same principle. Just, one of them's edible, and the other one was that soup. And yes, I'm fully aware that joke was very easy, but I am not creative enough to think of anything funnier than that. If Amanda Nicole Martinez gets sentenced to prison for this, yes, do expect a follow-up in the halls of injustice, because I have a sentence for you. But the soup's going to be hotter, and your face, well, it might say hello and give it a little kiss. Just saying. Anyway, I know this is short, but it is a Karen video worth discussing. I do want to know whether or not you think this is a Karen. I believe she is, which means it's 5-8. If you all disagree with me though, of course it then becomes 4-9, and that's quite alright. Do let me know in the comments down below. If you did enjoy the video, smash the like, share the video, comment as well, of course, drive up the engagement. Hope you'll have a great day, and thank you all very much for listening.